Hey guys, All in Crypto here and welcome back ladies and gentlemen for another YouTube video. It's been a little while since we made a Vechain video, a couple of days. We did say we were going to cover it more frequently. So today guys, we're going to be giving you a Vechain update because things look very healthy to me. And in actual fact, Vechain is killing it. Now the price does not reflect that, and we have stated on numerous occasions on this channel that price and true value are two different things. Price is just one metric which you use to weigh up value. You know, you can value something in terms of a fiat price. However, how many times have you bought something and thought that was a bargain, that was cheap, that was this? You know, there are plenty of other ways to weigh up true value. And to actually look at Vechain, it seems that they get new partnerships every single day. And we're going to talk about two of them. These came out literally today, and one is with olive oil, or an olive oil production business. And the other one is actually in America. Now we know that olive oil and Vechain are very heavily rooted within China, but this other partnership is actually with an America's family farms. So we're going to get into that in a second. What I want to do to start off with, guys, is just take a look at where Vechain is today. Vechain is currently at 12 cents, down around about 3.9%, but up around about 5.7% on the weekly, and has a market cap of $7.8 trillion. Very undervalued in my opinion. I'm not going to go into why and throw other coins under the bus. But Vechain is a super strong project, and I believe is actually pretty undervalued. And there's lots of people saying right now that Vechain is underperforming the market, certainly when you look at your Solanas, your Cardanos. And it is indeed doing that, but this is how Vechain rolls. You know, each individual crypto almost has its own personality on the charts. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today. But where I really want to start, guys, is with Bitcoin, because we know Bitcoin is the permissioner of space. Bitcoin is still in an uptrend, and you're actually finding a little bit of support here. We know that this is a key level of resistance. This neckline right here is, I don't know what happened there. This neckline right here is a key level of resistance. This neckline of this head and shoulders, which we know we sold out to the downside. Once you broke this, guys, expect good things for Bitcoin, because it won't be very long until you're kind of up around about your all-time highs. Maybe you have a pullback from there before going into price discovery. And ultimately, we're in a bull market. This is the kind of roadmap that we set out for Vechain. And history is essentially repeating, guys. If we look at how we kind of came into our three-wave from our two-wave correction, you can see it wasn't just up. You have to take ground. You have to climb. You have to clear resistance levels, flip them as support before then continuation. And it's when you really go into price discovery that you see these kind of big run-ups before you have you blow off top of that particular Elliott wave. And that's what we're expecting for Vechain. We still absolutely believe that Vechain can get to $1 to $1.50 this bull run, whether that's the end of this year or slightly into next year. We think that from now until the end of the year, things are going to get very, very exciting, guys. And like I say, the partnerships that Vechain has is just a real confirming factor that we're in the right crypto. For those of you who are in Vechain, you know, it's not our biggest cryptocurrency holding, but it's a significant one, and is one that we are still adding to at this current moment. I mean, if we believe it's going to get to $1, $1.50, even if it gets to $1, you know, that's nearly a 10x on your money. You can't get those kind of returns anywhere, and we think with crypto, you know, it's very, very possible. So if we look at the daily time frames, the 4 hourly, we'll jump to the daily in a second. You can see you've caught up and you've actually sold below your EMAs. Now, one thing that's important, guys, is you're holding this level as support. It was a previous resistance level that you've actually flipped. You can see all you're doing right now across the board, guys, is support and resistance trading. And that's what you're going to do until you're in new all-time highs. And then we can start looking at some real, let's get it offline. Then you can start looking at some real price predictions. But this level right here, which most other cryptos, by the way, have cleared, this is really a tricky area. And one trait that's absolutely apparent, you can see if we look at Bitcoin, for example, once you clear, Bitcoin did a similar thing. It came up to, you know, Bitcoin, the whole market follows Bitcoin, larger altcoins follow it more closely, and it trickles down to the smaller altcoins. And Vechain is still a smaller altcoin. You can see that they all had a similar trait, and that's that they sold off before finding support and having a kind of continuation to the upside. And that's what we're expecting for Vechain. When exactly that's going to happen is really anybody's guess, but my guess would be it could be in the next couple of days. You know, Vechain to me looks like it has found that support. How are we wrong? Well, it sells below this. It starts trickling below this. You've got another support level to kind of hang on to, and then you want to kind of make ground and continue up. You don't want to continue coming down. And it does look like, to me, certainly, it looks like you've actually found some decent support here. Although you do have, if you look at this wick, it shows buying pressure. If you look at this wick, it shows sell pressure. And it all seems to be gravitating towards this level right here. But you can see you are using it as support. You need to get above this EMA before retesting and going on and making a kind of run, if you will. And like I say, once you've cleared this significant level of resistance, potentially you could be looking at some pretty serious upside of sort of 80% or so. That's what we kind of think. We don't think it's going to be long before Vechain gets to its all-time highs at all, guys. We think it's really just a matter of time. If we take this off logarithmic, the charts just look crazy. One reason we use log for the bigger sort of time frames is because it's a lot easier to kind of navigate, if you will. So if we look at this previous dip, guys, which had everyone saying much the same thing down here that people were saying we're entering a bear market, you know, the crypto bull runs over, it's been cut short. Absolutely not. You can see you do fall short of your all-time highs before then selling off and setting up for more continuation. Let's just make that a little bit sort of more clear for you, not also hunched together. So this is really what we're expecting. You can see a sell-off from your or below your EMAs. You know, you don't stay in an uptrending market, guys. You do not stay below your EMA on the 20 on all time frames for very long. You know, certainly the 4 hourly, which is the one at the moment we're paying the most attention to. And you are coming down, certainly on the daily, very, very nicely. One thing that we've stated across the board for crypto, and I'll move over here, guys, is that when you get overextended from this 20 EMA, you know, we've said it on every single crypto that we cover, you will always come back and meet it. And the further up and the further extension you have from it, usually the more that's kind of mirrored to the downside. And ultimately, you know, what's happening right now is perfect, guys, because it's allowing your EMA on the 20 to creep up, you know, and set up for more continuation. Now that's Bitcoin, of course, but essentially the same thing is happening with Vechain right now. Let's switch to the daily to see where it's at. You can see how your EMA is creeping up. You know, you could go for maybe a double bottom situation before this creeps up and kind of pushes you up in the direction of this market, which is an uptrending market, by the way, guys. People seem to forget that. Everyone's kind of suffering with PTSD at the moment, post-traumatic stress disorder syndrome, due to the fact that we went through a 55% sell-off for Bitcoin. And I think Vechain, and it actually showed weakness in regards to a lot of cryptos out there. Sold off by about 80%. So it had a lot more, it had a bit more of a battering, if you will, which is kind of mirrored in its recovery. You know, it's taken a little bit more time to get around to things and recover and you know, catch up with the rest of the market. But ultimately, we've still got very, very high hopes for Vechain. And as a project, they are killing it, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, guys, for those of you, I created a Twitter account today. We have one follower, which is Charlie3. So give me a follow if you want, at Real All In Crypto. We've not posted anything yet, but we're going to give you some more sort of time-sensitive updates on here, because it's easier for me to do. I can just get on, type a few sentences or a few words of what I think's happening, and we can kind of go from there. But in regards to Vechain and their how they're kind of doing, guys, in terms of a project, they're absolutely killing it. I mean, they really are. We are proud to support Olive Times, a premium olive oil brand in China, to digitize their supply chain and marketing. As consumers increasingly demand for quality and transparency, Vechain is the key to serve the next generation of customers. And this is what I believe Vechain could be. They already have a huge competitive advantage over in China, because the Chinese government have actually partnered with Vechain for things like medical care. Medical care, by the way, and the whole healthcare industry is really where Vechain is going to thrive, because that is an industry that is almost life dependent on them innovating, and it will actually, you know, this sounds very, very trivial, but Vechain can actually save lives in how they can make the healthcare sector far more secure, far more kind of accountable, if you will. So, you know, it's such a huge project, guys, and what they're doing with VFO, a little bit of DeFi and stuff like that going on there, is great. And this is the article for those of you who wish to sort of go through and read it. So they sell 66,000 tons per annum. That's huge. So this is a big company, by the way, guys. And this is just one of many. I mean, we had another one. This came out 2 hours ago. We had one prior to this that came out yesterday. Following our previous partnerships, we're happy to power a new client of Product MTK. We're bringing vet technology to America's family farms. Arizonan Oatman Farms now utilize Vechain, and Storybird empowered their supply chain and marketing. This is brilliant, and like I say, one reason Vechain is going to accrue such value is just because of what they can do. Here's another one, guys, from not yesterday but the day prior. Do you like water activities? Vechain official fans. Who doesn't? What fun activities have you always wanted to do on vacation? Snorkeling, diving, fishing, surfing, you name it, we got it. Book your next water activity with Vet on Traveler. You know, they can literally apply themselves to any field and thrive in it, because blockchain technology, and we spoke to you guys today about how Cardano are working. You know, in 2022 they might bring out Hydra, which is a layer 2 on top of Ouroboros, where they essentially could be able to process 1 million transactions a second. That is impressive, just to say the least. I mean, that is unbelievable, guys. And ultimately, this is the way we think blockchain is going. You know, this technology, you are a part, if you are an investor in the crypto space, of a technological revolution, much the same as how the internet revolutionized things and made things far more efficient. Prior to that, it was PCs. Blockchain is here, and it's here to stay. And these projects that come out of it, much the same as you have the internet and you have the internet stocks like your Amazons, etc. You've got blockchain and you've got things like Vechain, Cardano, etc. So we're very, very excited for what the future holds. And like I say, dips are for buying in an upwards trending market, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll see if this support holds. If it doesn't, you know, you do have this support, or certainly support level here. But what I'd expect more, if you do fail this level right here, guys, if you roll over, well, I don't know what's going on with this today. If you roll over, expect a bounce from your EMA. These act as a kind of springboard in an uptrending market. And like I say, guys, Vechain is just getting started. You know, it's absolutely killing it in terms of partnerships and where they're at as a project. It's not really reflected in the price at all, but this is to come. You know, it will play a catch-up game, essentially, much the same that we've compared other charts and how things kind of move. You know, it's a matter of time before Vechain really gets rocking and rolling, and ultimately, you know, it's really once you go into that kind of price discovery that you see the kind of parabola. And if we look at what happened last time, you kind of cleared the highs of your one wave, just roughly, guys. Let's move it down slightly. You went on and made 1,000%. Now, I'm not exactly saying that's going to happen again. Entirely possible. Certainly to the or a $1 mark, it's only 500%. To me, it's going to happen. Not financial advice, just I'm very optimistic. I like the project. I think they have a great team. Sonny Liu is an entertaining individual, also with some real technological standing. You know, he used to be the chief technology officer for Louis Vuitton, which is huge, and he did very well when he was there, and obviously went on to create Vechain. And, you know, he has partnerships all over the place for a reason. You know, people see the value in this technology. They see the value in what Vechain is bringing to the table, what the blockchain is bringing to the table, and you know, are working with them as a result. So largely, yes, the market is all dependent on Bitcoin. You know, when it decides to bounce, you know, this EMA is creeping up and is ultimately going to push it forwards. This is really a key level of resistance, to be honest with you, though, guys. This kind of neckline is absolutely key, and you can see once you kind of, you know, once you sold through it, or once you broke above it, you have some pretty spectacular price action, and volumes dropping off. Things are coming in nicely. Volumes dropping off across the board. Remember, you're still in the summer doldrums. It's important for me to remind you guys of that, because ultimately these markets work. Markets are driven by human beings. Human beings would want to have took, and why we've seen such low volume during the summer is because we were essentially locked up for 2 years, you know, across the board, certainly in the West. You know, there was restrictions placed on a lot of things, and people are really enjoying their freedoms, enjoying the fact that it's summer. I mean, I know in the UK we've had a pretty hot summer so far. People are enjoying that. They are going to come back to the trades. You always, every single summer, you know, there's a sell in May and come back in St. Leger's Day, which is a real saying out there in regards to markets, or an old saying from the sort of London Stock Exchange. Essentially, what they're talking about there is the fact that people go on holiday. People enjoy themselves in the summer and they come back to trade during the winter when things are a little bit dark and they don't mind being inside, sat behind a computer. It's only sad cases like me that do it in the summer. So that's really all I have for you guys. I just thought I'd give you an update. You know, it's all really dependent on Bitcoin, but to me, guys, the market looks healthy. Everything looks absolutely healthy. We want to see these pullbacks, and in actual fact, these pullbacks offer great buying opportunities. You know, you want to be in an uptrending market, which is confirmed to me that we're in. You want to be buying on these red days, and that's what we're doing, guys, across the board. We're targeting a lot of smaller projects at the moment, which I may talk about on the projects like Radix. Or Radix, whatever you want to call it. We're looking at a lot of the projects coming out on the Cardano ecosystem. We spoke about Charlie 3 yesterday. We've spoken about Liquid. We've spoken about Meld. We're looking at small projects to get into at the moment. So hopefully early picks. There's a lot more risk associated with them. I put thousands into cryptos before that have literally dropped off the face of the earth or have turned out to be complete Ponzi's. No shame in doing that, all a learning experience. Luckily, I learnt my lesson back in 2017 and haven't made the same mistake today. I always do my due diligence, like looking for auditors, etc., or looking for that product to have been audited. So I'm just rambling on really now to you guys, so apologies for that. But yeah, that's where we're at, guys. Everything looks healthy. We still think Vechain is on track. They're absolutely killing it in terms of partnerships and a project. And ultimately, we believe the future is a bright one for the Vechain holders out there. That's all I have for you in this video, guys. If you enjoyed the content, like us, always appreciated. So is a comment, and I look forward to seeing each and every one of you in the next YouTube video. Thanks a lot for watching, ladies and gentlemen.